And more interviews live from the SEMA Show.
Actually, what do you mean?
What?
No. This is our Man on the Street segment.
Oh, Man on the Street from the SEMA Show in Las Vegas.
Two podcasters on the side of a busy street on the sidewalk interviewing custom truck builders.
Hit it!
The Truck Show Podcast, live from the SEMA Show in Las Vegas. Presented by Nissan, with support from EGR, Banks, and AMSOIL.
Well, we're standing in the middle of a
walkway.
Yeah, walkway here. We're about to get
Good morning,
pummeled.
everybody.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. They're just waking up.
Yeah, I know.
Going to the
How's
show.
your SEMA?
There we go.
Yeah. All right, so here we are. We're standing on the sidewalk, and everybody is walking to work right now.
Are we on Elvis Presley Way? What street are we on here?
Yeah, I think that's what we are. Something like that. We're across from Piero's. So right across from here, TORA, the Truck and Off-Road Alliance, which is a subgroup within the SEMA organization that represents the truck and off-road industry. They have 10 hand-selected vehicles. People had to submit, and they selected these vehicles to be on display. So we're going to walk down the sidewalk.
Weren't you a judge or something on this?
I was a judge, yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to walk down the aisle here. And what we're going to try and do is find some owners and builders and see what
How
we
many
find
I can
out.
annoy?
Well, I don't see a whole lot here, but hopefully we can pick up a few.
Okay.
All right, we're standing here out in front of SEMA, and Ian Johnson is regaling us with some crazy project, harebrained scheme thing he's working on that we
walked by
love.
and we heard Nissan Titan. We're like,
No,
wait.
no, that's not what we heard. We heard cutting up Nissan Titan.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut it in half a little bit, make it longer.
But you love that truck.
Well, the truck owes me nothing. The truck, I bought it in 16 brand new. It's got 280,000 miles on it. I've had to do regular maintenance things to it, but nothing bonkers. I was offered almost $0 on a trade-in, and I want an Earth Roamer. But I don't want to pay $300,000 for an Earth Roamer, so I've decided I'm going to cut my Nissan in half. I'm going to do a dual railroad conversion on it. We're going to kick the gas gears into it because I'm talking to my friends at Cummins. They're telling me I'm going to pick up 3 to 4 miles per gallon. We're going to leave the lift alone, but we're going to do a custom aluminum flatbed on the back, put a truck bed camper in the back, but I'm going to put a 10-foot bed on it, stretch the wheelbase way back. And it's going to look like an Earth Roamer from 30 feet away, but it's only going to cost
You haven't put any
$30,000.
thought into this, have you?
What's that?
You haven't put any thought into
Dude,
this at all.
this is the most planned any project. Normally I just roll them in, just be like, cut maybe here. This is what I've like measured and planned, and yeah, it's
All
gonna
right,
be
we're
fun.
going to follow up with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait. Where's the first place you're going to take it when it's done?
I don't think I'll have it done for Hammers, but ideally it'd be Hammers. But I don't think I'll have it done this year. So probably, ideally I'd want to take it to Hammers.
Hammers 2026.
There we go.
Hey, real quick before we let you go, how's SEMA been so far for you?
It's been good. I think it's kind of crazy. It feels really, really busy, which is nice. I was a little nervous about that, but I think that, first day was packed. Everyone I talked to seems to be happy.
Mood is good?
Mood's good. Everyone's happy. So I think it's just the end of the day. I think it's just everyone just wants to build trucks and have fun, man. That's all we really want to do. And some
Spend
people
money.
want to build cars, but they're weird.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so we're with Bon Gilmer from Rebel 4x4, and you have this really cool Gladiator build. So this is part of the TORA, the Truck and Off-Road Alliance, and you're one of the 10 vehicles selected to kind of represent TORA here on the main drag between Central Hall, West Hall. So these trucks are all visible from the street. People are driving by. A little different than your normal builds because they're normally orange, right?
Well, they are, and I figured I needed to switch it up. So we switched to white now, and got 2 vehicles here, and we did white and orange. We got to keep the orange. Everything's got to have some orange.
How did that start, the orange thing?
Really? Because nobody else was using the color. I'm like, I got to do something different.
So there's still quite a bit of orange on this. I mean, I see the shock hoops are orange, the wheels are orange.
Yeah, all the
Rebel
accents
Off-Road
are
is orange. Yeah.
I watched this build over social. You guys were posting pictures of it. You showed when the Gladiator wasn't even lifted and the bed was off of it. Then you went to, I guess it would be a tray bed style with is it more of a South African or Australian kind of utility box on the back?
Yeah, so what it is, I used to I grew up in South Africa and lived in Australia. And when I was back there this over Christmas and New Year's, I'm like, man, I got to bring these things out to America. It's time. It's time that, that's where the market is going. And they've been ahead of us for a long time in the overland industry. So I said, yep, this is what we're going to do. And we sat down and designed a flatbed tray. And it's got sides that are removable. And then it's got a canopy on the top. And the canopy is actually removable too. It comes with 4 screw jacks. You can literally lift it up, drive off from underneath it, and leave that alone.
Oh, that's awesome.
And have that just sitting as a standalone unit while you use your truck as a big flatbed.
Can you remind Lightning here which country of the two you mentioned, South Africa and
Oh, come
Australia,
on.
have rhinoceroses.
Rhinos, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, definitely not Australia. Yeah.
We had the guys from Rhino Rack on. He goes, "Oh, so how about those rhinos in Australia?" And it's like, "Oh, dude."
It was a moment of.
The reason I do that is A, to bust your balls, but also because I see a kangaroo and a crocodile sitting in the back of your
That's
very
not an
dangerous.
alligator. It's a crocodile.
It's crocodile.
Yeah.
It's crocodile.
We don't have alligators.
There's no rhino in there.
No.
No, so tell me about this. This again, you didn't do it justice in your description. I mean, it articulates in quite a few ways. You've got a hatch that opens to the sky, one that opens down towards the ground.
Well, look at this. So you've got a utility like pocket, kind of like an old pickup truck behind the wheel well, but it's obviously been designed for great departure angle. You got your ARB compressor stuff on that side. You've got a massive hatch. Look, you even have a slot for your cheap Costco table, because those things are literally the best for camping and off-roading. You put a place for it in the back of the truck.
Yeah, I hate flimsy tables, and camping tables got to be sturdy. You got to be able to cook in them. And when we designed this, I really wanted it to be very utilitarian. On the other side, it's going to have a fridge that drops down and slides out. It's got a pantry. We teamed up with Blackstone on these units as well.
Oh, awesome.
So they're getting involved too. I designed it so that we could fit. In Australia, you can only clear like a 33, 35-inch tire max. Out here, we ran up to 42s. So when I was designing this, I changed around some of those designs so that it would work with a 42. It'll fit, looks great stock, and it'll fit up to a 42. It's got toolboxes on it on either side. It's got a big 5-foot trundle drawer underneath it that pulls out on the back. Lots of storage in every compartment. And you can put your 40-inch or 42-inch tire on the back. It'll run with anything.
So are you mass producing these?
Yep. And they're for sale now. And they're selling, and it's great.
That's awesome.
What's the price range? I'm sure that there's all type of accoutrement that you can get with it.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're looking for just the flatbed's actually going to come with a trundle underneath, the drawers on the sides, and it has a water tank on it too, 11-gallon water tank. It's going to come like that, and that's around $9,000. Up from there, you get the canopy itself, and the canopy has loads of different options, whether it be kitchens, fridge mounts and slides, all sorts of different things. So the canopy starts off around $3,800 and goes up from there. You can spend up to $12,000 in it because there's so much you can put inside them.
And you can do full house battery and self-sufficient solar, all the good stuff.
That's what this one has. It's got 2 batteries inside it. It's got a solar charger. You can charge solar as you're driving. You can charge it from the vehicle, whatever way you want to go.
It's awesome. And I don't know if we got too deep into the vehicle, but so Rebel's in Orange County down where I am, and they're known for their Jeep builds. And this one has 40s, 1-ton axles. It's awesome. Looks like you've got King shocks at all 4 corners, long travel, Terraflex kit, and arms in the back. You kind of have these things dialed. Somebody came to you and said, "Hey, I've got a JL, a JT, JK. I want this." You know exactly what to give that customer.
Yes, we do. We actually have 2 facilities. One's in Texas, the other one's in Orange County, and we're trying to expand over to the East Coast as well. But yeah, we've got these things dialed. We've been doing it for a long time, and what really makes us get them dialed is the fact that we use them so heavily. Knowing where the what areas are weaker and need to have more attention on them. So because we do these off-road trips, and some of them are big trips, we do like 14-day off-road camping trips, going up through the Great Divide up to Canada. And when we're doing those things, we learn a lot about what's going to work and what's not going to work, what extras you're going to need. So also, when a customer comes in, being able to give them advice on what to look for, how they're going to be using it, we can help them out tremendously.
All right, so if a customer wants to find a shop in Texas or in Orange County, California, RebelOffroad.com?
Yep, that's us, RebelOffroad.com.
All right, and these guys are one of the premier shops. I can tell you firsthand, high-quality products. So if you're looking for somebody who, even if you don't live in those areas, you're looking for a quality dialed shop that's going to take care of you, look up Rebel.
Well, I appreciate that, and I got to tell you, we get a lot of vehicles shipped into us from other states.
Yeah.
Other shops have built them, and they're just not happy with how it's performing or how it's not what they were after. We'll help them ship in if they need to. We can help them with transportation. When they get to us, we'll dial them in for them, and then we'll ship them on back.
So you're the doctor that has to fix the botched surgery.
Well, sometimes these things happen,
I heard that you don't accept angry grills, though.
No, not a huge fan of angry grills or a few other those other accessories.
And who are we with now?
Oh, this would be Bond Gilmer from Rebel Off-Road.
We stepped about 20 feet away to his other truck, a Jeep JL.
Yep, this is a 2-door stretch JL.
Now, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Bond from Rebel Off.
He was going with it.
All right, we gotta step to the side though, because that's where the magic is on this. LJ's were a thing, which is basically a stretch 2-door TJ, and then JK came around, and then the longer Jeep had 4 doors, and then the shorter Jeep It's a short Jeep, so there's nothing in the middle. And there's a lot of us out there who love a long wheelbase two-door Jeep. And so Bond said, well, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, you know, I really, actually, one of my staff did it first.
Awesome.
And I loved it so much on his one, and I'm like, I need to do something similar to this. So what I did was I got myself a two-door JL, and I stretched it out to 114-inch wheelbase, and I think that's a great wheelbase.
Which is real close, because I think a 116 on a JL, and 118 on a JL and 116 on a JK four-door. So
That's
you're
correct.
just short of that, right?
Yep. And I wanted to keep the body, small so that it keeps it away from the rocks. I was thinking about building myself a rock bike, but no, I'm a Jeep shop, man. I'm going to stick with Jeeps.
Yeah.
But this looks like it came from the factory this way. Obviously, not all the trussing and things like that, but the body itself looks factory.
Well, except for the sticker on the hood, Lightning.
It says the unit.
Well, I mean, it's a big vehicle. It's on 42-inch, competition tires, Dana 70s that are 74 inches wide. So it's got a 6.6-liter motor inside it. It's a big, powerful vehicle.
That's a really big V6, Bond.
What is under the hood here?
It's called an LX3. It's a combination of like an LT lower with an LS3 upper. And it puts out about 500 to 550 horsepower.
You could probably
in a
roast
two-door.
these all day long.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Dana 70 in the rear?
Dana 70 front and back.
Wow.
All
That's why it's so tall, because you needed up travel from.
Well, it's got 18-inch coilovers.
Oh, my God.
And, we've wanted to get creative, so I made them stick up through the hood. They're long, but it's got so much droop. I mean, these tires I can lift up to my shoulder and keep the other three on the ground.
I've heard it is about size in Vegas and Texas.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. All right, so we just got done talking with our friend Bond.
Is that a lozenge in your mouth?
It
What
is.
just
Bond,
happened?
Bond gave me a lozenge so I could carry this interview on without sounding like I was gargling gravel.
That's my new album title, by the way.
Gargling gravel? Yeah,
Exactly.
so I may have stayed up late last night smoking some really, really good cigars.
That was dumb. I mean, good and dumb.
Right, and so I decided that I would leave the hotel room without drinking or a bottle of water this morning.
Again, dumb.
And go straight into interviewing when the, the humidity is about 20% out here. And
Zero.
Right, zero.
I think
0%.
zero, yes.
So it's literally, as I talk, I'm just turning into a raisin. Look, it's Melanie from Hellwig.
Hi, Melanie.
Oh, my gosh.
What are
the
you
stars are out.
doing?
We're doing TORA stuff.
Oh, are you really doing something right now?
Yes, we are. And all these people have been walking by and they've been
Very
cheering for us.
cool.
So.
Oh my gosh, TORA's doing amazing stuff here, right?
Yeah,
are you guys
it's
checking out
awesome.
these cool rigs?
Yeah, so we're going to try and find all the owners and find out about each of these
We've
builds.
not made it very far. We
If
keep
you
running
have-
into people we know.
Oh, I bet.
That's the beauty of SEMA.
Yeah, that is the beauty of SEMA. But if you don't find one of these owners and want me to take one, I'll take one.
Well, you probably have parts on some of these, I would imagine.
I hope so, yes. I should have sway bars on
I was
them.
trying to convince her yesterday that she needs to make some product for a Grenadier and that I might have one that I can loan her.
Oh, I see.
You know.
I understand the homework assignment here.
Yes, exactly. And you're going to go talk about the Grenadier. I was looking at that. So,
And she's
yeah.
going to drop about 4 times how it needs a Hellwig rear sway bar.
100% needs one because I rode in it. So, yes, I understand.
HellwigSuspension.com if you need a rear sway bar for your Grenadier.
Yes. Well, not yet.
Oh, oops.
Coming soon.
Coming
Yeah.
soon. So we happen to be with our other friend, Sarah Morrison, who is, I don't know, one of our regulars.
How do you now, Sarah? Okay,
How
so
long do
you're
we know each other for? It's got to be over 20 years.
Well, it's when you started working at
At
Truckin', right?
yeah. So what, 02 or 03?
Yeah,
so over 20 years.
Steve was, I think, the editor then.
Yep.
I
He was
remember
hanging
you
out with your dad
Yeah.
and doing matching boat wheels
Yeah.
or boat trailer wheels with truck
Trucks.
wheels. Yep. You've got a Grenadier
Yes.
that you put together with Bernard from Lightner Design.
Yes.
Who we've already talked to, so we don't want to talk to him. And he's literally sitting in it right now as an accessory. Does he come with the vehicle?
Yes, he comes as the personal driver.
Oh, I like that.
Do you sit in the passenger seat or in the back seat?
Actually, I do most of the driving.
He breaks things, we've heard.
He's
Oh,
very hard
gosh.
on equipment.
Oh my gosh. Have you driven with him before?
No, I'm scared.
Yeah, he says that he's testing things.
Yeah.
And if things break before his product, then he's won. And so far,
He seems to be really good at testing steering wheels that detach.
Yeah.
he does that. No comment.
No, he's already talked about it.
Okay, yes, then yes.
Then yes,
and
it's all true.
it's all true. And it was really funny because it was kind of like a year into our relationship, and he's like, hey, you need to come get me in the middle of the desert. And I was like, is this a test? Like, challenge accepted.
All right.
But
so
yes, he does.
Tell us about the Grenadier.
yeah, let's talk about this
Okay.
beautiful sand-colored Grenadier build.
It is called Magic Mushroom.
Okay.
That's what you call it, or that's the actual name
That's
of
the
the
actual
color?
That's
name.
the actual name of the color. It's called Magic Mushroom. Which is funny, when I think of Magic Mushroom, I feel like it should be one of those, that color changing
Yeah,
paint
it's psychedelic
instead,
kinda.
right?
Yeah.
I was like, it's tan. That's not Magic Mushroom, that's a
What
regular
was that
mushroom.
chameleon that used to be on the Mustangs for like that one model year?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Totally, right? Yeah, we actually, this year, we got, we've had this now about a year, and we've been wheeling it and going pretty much everywhere, but it has all the agile off-road, the wheels, rock slides, Firestone tires, and then we worked with IBOC this year. They put their new springs in there, and then these are all prototype Foxes that literally just came out on Monday. Actually, I think they told us they were all like hush hush about their new shocks, but we're super excited. We bolted them right in. We were at first not sure if they were, but they actually, everything went in like super well. And I towed a trailer out here with it. So
You did? That's brave of you.
yeah. So I was like, that's how you test things, see?
Right? Yeah. I get it. I
The
get it.
steering wheel didn't come off.
The steering wheel did not come
Not
off.
that
no,
we're aware
yeah,
of.
Yeah. And then, of course, it has all the Leitner design products, which is like the front bumper light mount with the Baja design lights. And then we have the roof rack with the sidekicks that holds like the jerry cans. And then the other side, it has Max Track mounts and stuff. So, and of course, his boxes, which are, I know you run his boxes on your
love that
Jeep,
box.
right?
Yeah. We talked about
I do
it
too.
probably ad nauseum on the show because I think it's one of the best. Like, if you look at a bunch of product categories and you're like, that's the best thing out of all of these. That's how I feel about that box. When it comes to like cargo boxes, that's the best one.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's I'm still blown away. Like,
I mean, he puts a lot of engineering when he makes his product, and I think you can just really tell when like you actually start working with it and using it. You can tell his stuff has like such great like technology behind it. But it's funny, we joke around that he came out with the box because he had nowhere to put my stuff anymore.
well,
It's like anybody
thank you
that
for
travels
that.
with a girl. He's like, and where are you going to put this? Yeah, no, it's a fun project. It was really great. I also built a quartermaster this year in EGR's booth.
Yep.
You guys probably saw it yesterday, and you can tell they kind of match. They're kind of very similar. They have a little bit of different things. That one's running Nitto tires instead. Same thing, we're running the iBox suspension with the Fox shocks. But it has very similar things, and then we're running all the EGR product on it.
Who's Agile Off-Road? Because I've been seeing the wheels everywhere, and I don't know them.
Oh, okay. So Agile Off-Road, they're like an outfitter accessory shop in Southern California. Actually, they're in San Diego area. They're known
Southern California.
Southern California. Yeah. So they're like out by like Escondido area, or actually I don't know exactly what.
So it was a shop that spun off their own line of wheels?
So yeah, they build vans. And because this has like a super crazy offset, you have to run a 35 to 40 offset, positive offset. So it's like the only thing that works is a van wheel.
Van wheel, yeah.
And it's the same bolt pattern. So it's like everybody started going with the van stuff. So it's kind of interesting because when we've gone to like a lot of the
By the way,
Grenadier
this is
runs,
awesome because van life is finally giving back to the rest of us.
Right. But it's so crazy. Like we went, we just did a Moab trip a couple weeks ago. We actually took this one with us. There was 50, they limited it to 50 vehicles. And it was really interesting because like every owner there, except for like besides us, they all had vans. Like all of them were like, oh, I have a storyteller, or I have,
Yep.
and they're like, and they're all van people. And we're like, how did this like translate? Just the only thing that is the same is the wheels.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they really like the like quirkiness of the vehicle. You do have to get used to driving these vehicles. It's not a luxury vehicle, but it's super fun to drive. I like that it's like very sturdy and crazy, but I don't know. It's very interesting to see that. But that Agile Off-Road is popular in the van world.
Gotcha. All right, well, congrats on the build.
Thank you. I'm really excited about it.
Who are we rapping with?
I'm Scott from Icon.
Scott, what's happening? Nice to meet you.
Is that what it says on your driver's license? Scott from Icon?
Scott from Icon.
Might as well at this point, yeah.
Or did they scratch it out and write from Randy's Worldwide?
Yes, that's also happened too. It's at the RWW in parentheses at the end.
That's right. The little asterisk. All right, we're standing in front of a new Illuma Duty, and I'm assuming this is decked out with Icon stuff. It's got a wide fender kits on it, and are we rocking 40s?
42s.
42. Man, it's so funny. So for the longest time, like let's say 90s, right? It was like 33s are big and 35s are massive. And then you get in the 2000s, everybody's like goes to 37s, and Baja, all those guys stepped up to 37s. And then kind of 37s was really the standard for the longest time until kind of midway through JK. And people were like, oh, 38 would be kind of cool. And then it was 40s. And now all of a sudden 40s over the past like 8, maybe 10 years, skyrocket. And all of a sudden it's like, nah, screw you. We're going 42s. Is there no end to the madness?
No, man, bigger's always better, right? And like we wanted to make it big, but look stock. So it's only got 2.5 inches of lift to make that happen too on this.
So then whose fenders are these?
These are the Baja forged fiberglass fenders.
Wow, okay.
They knocked it out, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really good.
We did a full shock package. It's all of our biggest, baddest stuff we can have. 3-inch diameter coilovers, electronic adjustment, 3.5-inch bypasses.
You guys have electronic adjustment now?
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Man. We sure do. And so what this is going to have, too, and it's hard to see because you got to kind of crawl in there, but it has electronic rebound adjustment on the rear as well.
Which is on these trucks, we've talked about on the show, one of the biggest things about most stock or even factory performance suspensions is, in my opinion, there's never enough rebound, especially on a pickup truck.
Right.
And it's because they want you to have weight in the bed, and that's going to dampen it. And if you run fast unloaded, it's not set up for that. And so I always feel like there's never enough rebound control. Compression's usually fine, but you're pogoing, you're kicking, and the rear's coming off the ground if you don't have a lot of weight in the bed, especially on a truck like this where the payload's 2,200 pounds or something like that.
A big heavy engine.
And a big heavy engine on the other side.
Exactly.
So.
And everyone does compression adjusters because it's honestly it's easier.
Yeah.
And so, but now as tech has improved, we've all gotten better at this. Now we've got ways to make this sort of thing happen, and now it's just gotten to the extreme fancy level with electronics.
That's awesome.
So when you got into the electronic suspension, you now had to Icon, because I started buying Icon when it was a new brand, basically. And it was instantly one of the best, and there was a whole backstory we don't have to get into here and why that was the case, but then when you decide to go into electronics, you had to find an OBD engineer, a CAN bus engineer, and you had to now understand all the electronics of the vehicle. How does that happen?
Oh, we're still figuring it out, man. It's not, we're shock guys, and that is still way over our heads. So what we've done is relatively, cool, but it's simple. And so we kind of allowed it to grow as we get better at it. And so right now, actually, we're working on new stuff, that rebound adjustment coming into the picture, getting new features on the app and stuff like that. And the cool thing is you just update the thing and you've got it all.
On a mobile app.
So how complicated is the controller? Is it basically preset parameters, or is there some sort of a module that can read yaw and inputs and things like that? Like what level of semi-active control do you have of the
He's pulling it up on his phone right now.
All of it. I don't have it connected here because I forgot to bring the keys. But so you have your baseline control of the shock, front and rear, independent of one another. It's same as turning the knob on the shock, basically, right? And then you swipe over here and you have the controls for the boost, which is all the actives, and that runs off of a 6-axis accelerometer, dual gyroscope, stuff like that.
Awesome.
And so it feels what's happening, and based off of your settings, however you have it set up, your baseline, and then the G-force, the computer will change the shocks as needed, and it's super cool because you have it soft.
So you set your baseline, and then the computer adjusts from that baseline.
Correct. Always up, and then once everything is calmed down, it goes back to your baseline.
Okay.
So it's there to catch it.
That's really cool.
So then for installation, you're just adding one layer of complexity in that you're having to run some cabling to each corner.
Correct, but it's all outside the cab. Nothing through the firewall. It's just running across existing wire looms. It's zip tied up. It's real easy, other than just the time to do it.
So it's designed to be put in someone's in your garage.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, we wanted to make it easy. It seems daunting, but it's all plug and play. It's all application specific. You just bolt the thing on, plug it in, and go.
What's the fail safe? So in case you have an adjuster fail, or you take a wire off road, because we all have done that before, is it go back to whatever the base valving is in the shock, or does the computer hold it to whatever base that you've selected?
It's normally closed valve. So basically, if you were to lose a wire, the shock will go to full stiff with compression. Rebound works, the same as always was. And so I've had that happen before. I was in Texas running a different truck, but we were doing like a time trial thing. I checked it, make sure everything's working. I was like, oh, I don't have a rear shock. I'm like, well, I'm going fast anyway. It's full stiff. Let's go. Let's send it. And you couldn't tell. It worked fine. It just wasn't doing its thing.
Yeah.
But if you're going slow, you might feel it.
Okay.
So how many applications do you have for this setup?
Pretty much everything we make, for the most part.
Oh, really?
And we're just rolling them out as we can get them checked off the list, basically.
Okay.
Well, that's way more than I thought we were going to
I know.
find out. I mean, I'm like blown away by the electronics side of it, because that has been something that only a few people are doing, and it's new to the industry. You see a little bit on the OE. Aftermarket, not a lot of players in that space, but for you guys to be like, oh yeah, it's across the line.
Yeah, they won
okay, great.
Best New Product at SEMA 2022. So
Awesome.
we got a whole display at the booth. Come on by and we'll show you.
Awesome.
It's that, but I get lost in the wheels before I even get to the shocks.
That's fair.
Who are we with?
Dan Nelson.
Is this your Gladiator?
So this is Ernie's Gladiator, and I am here on behalf of Ernie from Ernie's Custom Shop.
And where are you guys based out of?
We are out of near Chicago, Illinois, a town called Vernon Hills.
I've actually been to Vernon Hills.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Now, we're looking at 2022 Gladiator.
Yes.
And it looks like it's basically the theme is outfitted for snowboarding.
You got it.
And you've got some tracks on it. It's
Yes,
white
sir.
and with a matte black wrap with like a Kawasaki green kind of,
wasabi green.
Wasabi green. Okay, that makes sense.
Mountain range.
Accents. Yeah. Very cool. So, tell us a little bit about the build. What did you guys do? What was the genesis for this?
Yeah, so obviously you can see the tracks, the most prominent feature that's on this Jeep, and it was just an inspiration from the love of snowboarding and going out to Colorado, going to Keystone, and just really kind of wanted to recreate those like snowcats that are grooming the trails. And so we saw the truck tracks, and we're like, we got to do a build with the tracks. So lo and behold, here we are. We've got about a 4 or 5 inch lift on there with the RSO suspension. And some Elevate control arms under there that are looking good, and just some really nice color accents to tie it all in together. So, and then the Grinch just kind of comes from, going up into the mountains and the snow.
Well, the Grinch is green.
And the Grinch is green, so it all just kind of ties together.
So this has the style, especially like the arms and stuff, is more like you'd see from a custom lifted truck, like a full size, like more of a kind of Florida style, like a Southeast style.
Yeah.
But you've got off-road suspension and you got the track, so you're kind of like pulling from a few different disciplines, yet it works on this thing.
It does. It all ties together. It comes together.
In the same way that mountain biking and snowboarding have a little bit of flash and flair with their function.
Exactly.
That's how this came out, and I'm sure that's what you guys were intending, but it works.
100%.
So how long did it take you guys to build, and what do you plan on doing with it after SEMA?
It all actually came together pretty quickly, and it kind of evolved over time. We've had 40-inch tires on there at one point, but then we kind of switched to the tracks because the tracks are as easy as changing a wheel.
Yeah.
The lug nuts come off, you throw the tracks on, and you're good to go. So we kind of go back and forth between the tires and the tracks, but we just love the look of the track, so we're going to keep it on this one. Honestly, the build did not take us long at all, like less than a month to just put it all together. So.
Tell me you drove down Las Vegas Boulevard with the tracks on.
So we haven't yet. We're hoping maybe Friday night we'll get out there and go down the strip. We'll have to see because Ernie himself had to fly home to get home for some family stuff, but we're hoping to get out there.
I got this.
Yeah. I was like, we got this. And so hopefully we'll get out there. Can't make no promises, but it has been down the strip of Pigeon Forge during the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep invasion.
Okay.
And there's content.
And that is the Redneck Riviera and Redneck Vegas.
Yeah, there's
so you might as well be in the actual Vegas.
Yeah,
and
so
then
now we're just doing the world tour here. So we're trying to get all over the place, and we've got some really cool, real cool reel that went viral. Everyone saw us just flying down the strip in Pigeon Forge, and you can go check it out on our Instagram.
Right on. That's awesome.
What's Ernie's known for?
Ernie's is just for automotive customization. So tires, wheels, suspensions, everything you see here, we could do it for you. So lighting, anything you want to do, off-road vehicles, primarily 4x4s, trucks and, anything from a 4Runner to, a TRX. It's up to you. So
you don't have a single specialty that you are known for.
No.
Custom vehicles.
Just custom vehicles, man. Just custom vehicles. Yeah.
Some guys do everything, but they're known for Jeeps. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say we do a lot of Jeeps. A lot of people will come with their Jeeps. So I'd say maybe 65-70% of our customers are Jeeps.
This guy's not cool enough to be at SEMA.
Oh, here's second time around.
Yeah, so now it's the second time around. It's like, your truck's not good enough to be here, pal, and your music sucks. You remember when you could afford a high-end audio system, and so that was cool because you're the only one who could do that? And like every one of these stock cars behind it with a nice stereo can do that now. You're not special.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just keep driving.
I'm hating on the guy who can't get into SEMA and wants to show off his slammed Ram.
Well, let's flip this around and use his train horns and fire back at this
totally
guy.
Could just blow him away right now.
I love how you have rear-facing train horns that are right up against the building because you could probably deafen everybody within about a 2-square block radius.
They're tied right into the normal horn. So if you forget they're there and you're trying to do a courtesy beep, there's no courtesy beeps on this thing.
It is not every day that you run into Wilfred Eibach, the founder of Eibach.
The Eibach.
Actually, I was not the founder, it was my father.
Your father? Okay.
But I joined him when we were 3 people, and I joined him in 1959.
Wow.
And so I just celebrated my 65th anniversary in the company on April 1st. So not everything on April 1st must be a fool.
You don't look a day over 29.
Yeah, thank you. Shall I clean your glasses?
I guess because all of my friends, we have like kind of worshipped at the foot of Eibach for many, many years. And since I was first building cars starting back in the late 1980s, your name has always been synonymous with the best springs on the market. So I just made the assumption that you were the founder, because it was always Wilfred Eibach. So
yeah, I joined him when we were 3 people. Now we are 699 and a half, because I'm working now half-time.
Well, I've had Eibach springs on all sorts of project vehicles when I worked at the magazines, and I've had them on my Honda Civic SI back in the day. I've had them on trucks. Lightning has it on his TRX. You guys make a fantastic, fantastic product.
Yeah, it's what it is. We always, there's a saying, a fish sinks from its head first. So the other thing is obviously also coming from the top. And when people ask me, so I didn't go to any university because I had to join my father because he was already sick when he passed away in 1967. He never saw that we made a suspension spring. However, when my talent is, obviously when empathy was given to human beings, I asked for a second person.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I know you're probably busy with SEMA, but we had this opportunity to grab you, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Over here talking to someone, we're like, that's not Wilfred Eibach. It's like meeting the president, but better.
No. But do you know the story with Leitner, with his father?
Oh, yeah.
You know
we're good friends with Bernard.
So we were both together, us and myself, creating the first suspension for mountain bikes. His father is a genius.
A lot of his technology his father developed still being used today.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Right. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I met him when he was still in Laguna Beach, really trying hard to get his feet on the ground, and it was really interesting. And actually his sister worked for us in the bookkeeping department maybe 30 years ago. So it's funny.
And it's probably fun for you to see him growing up and being successful too.
Yeah, you're right. But with that genes, it can't be different.
Yeah.
So, hey, so nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank you.
It's a good symbol for the day to come.
Yeah,
exactly.
Thank you very much then.
Thank you for letting us hang out with you for a minute.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, and take care.
Thank you.
And enjoy the springtime together with me.
I don't think you understand. That was Wilfred Eibach.
Oh, no, I understand. I read his name on his badge.
Oh, okay. Who are we rapping with?
I'm Scott from Icon.
Scott, what's happening? Nice to meet you.
Is that what it says on your driver's license? Scott from Icon?
Scott from Icon.
Might as well at this point, yeah.
Or did they scratch it out and write from Randy's Worldwide?
Yes, that's also happened too. It's at the RWW in parentheses at the end.
That's right. The little asterisk. All right, we're standing in front of a new Illuma Duty, and I'm assuming this is decked out with Icon stuff. It's got a wide fender kits on it, and are we rocking 40s?
42s.
42s. Man, it's so funny. So for the longest time, like let's say 90s, right? It was like 33s are big and 35s are massive. And then you get in the 2000s, everybody's like goes to 37s, and Baja, all those guys stepped up to 37s. And then kind of 37s was really the standard for the longest time until kind of midway through JK. And people are like, 38 would be kind of cool. And then it was 40s. And now all of a sudden 40s over the past like 8, maybe 10 years, skyrocket. And all of a sudden it's like, nah, screw you. We're going 42s. Is there no end to the madness?
No, man, bigger's always better, right? And like we wanted to make it big, but look stock. So it's only got 2.5 inches of lift to make that happen too on this.
So then whose fenders are these?
These are the Baja forged fiberglass fenders. They knocked it out, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really good.
We did a full shock package. It's all of our biggest, baddest stuff we can have. 3-inch diameter coilovers, electronic adjustment, 3.5-inch bypasses.
You guys have electronic adjustment now?
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Man. We sure do. And so what this is going to have, too, and it's hard to see because you got to kind of crawl in there, but it has electronic rebound adjustment on the rear as well.
Which is on these trucks, we've talked about on the show, one of the biggest things about most stock or even factory performance suspensions is, in my opinion, there's never enough rebound, especially in a pickup truck.
Right.
And it's because they want you to have weight in the bed, and that's going to dampen it. And if you run fast unloaded, it's not set up for that. And
Correct.
so I always feel like there's never enough rebound control. Compression's usually fine, but you're pogoing, you're kicking, and the rear's coming off the ground if you don't have a lot of weight in them, especially on a truck like this where the payload's 2,200 pounds or something
A big
like
heavy
that.
engine.
And a big heavy engine on the other side.
Exactly. And everyone does compression adjusters
Yeah.
because it's honestly it's easier.
Yeah.
And so, but now as tech has improved, we've all gotten better at this. Now we've got ways to make this sort of thing happen, and now it's just gotten to the extreme fancy level with electronics.
That's awesome.
So when you got into the electronic suspension, you now had to Icon, because I started buying Icon when it was a new brand basically, and it was instantly one of the best. And there was a whole backstory we don't have to get into here and why that was the case, but. Then when you decide to go into electronics, you had to find an OBD engineer, a CAN bus engineer, and you had to now understand all the electronics of the vehicle. How does that happen?
Oh, we're still figuring it out, man. It's not, we're shock guys, and that is still way over our heads. So what we've done is relatively, cool, but it's simple. And so we kind of allowed it to grow as we get better at it. And so right now, actually, we're working on new stuff, that rebound adjustment coming into the picture, getting new features on the app and stuff like that. And the cool thing is you just update the thing and you've got it all.
On a mobile app.
So how complicated is the controller? Is it basically preset parameters, or is there some sort of a module that can read yaw and inputs and things like that? Like what level of semi-active control do you have of the
He's pulling it up on his phone right now.
All of it. I don't have it connected here because I forgot to bring the keys. But so you have your baseline control of the shock, front and rear, independent of one another. It's same as turning the knob on the shock, basically, right? And then you swipe over here and you have the controls for the boost, which is all the actives, and that runs off of a 6-axis accelerometer, dual gyroscope, stuff like that.
Awesome.
And so it feels what's happening, and based off of your settings, however you have it set up, your baseline, and then the G-force, the computer will change the shocks as needed, and it's super cool because you have it soft.
So you
and
set
then
your
catch it.
baseline, and then the computer adjusts from that baseline.
Correct. Always up, and then once everything is calmed down, it goes back to your baseline.
Okay.
So it's there to catch it.
That's really
So
cool.
then for installation, you're just adding one layer of complexity in that you're having to run some cabling to each corner.
Correct, but it's all outside the cab. Nothing through the firewall. It's just running across existing wire looms, just zip tied up. It's real easy, other than just the time to do it.
So it's designed to be put in someone's in your garage.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, we wanted to make it easy. It seems daunting, but it's all plug and play. It's all application specific. You just bolt the thing on, plug it in, and go.
What's the fail safe? So in case you have an adjuster fail, or you take a wire off road, because we all have done that before, is it go back to whatever the base valving is in the shock, or does the computer hold it to whatever base that you've selected?
It's normally closed valve. So basically, if you were to lose a wire, the shock will go to full stiff with compression. Rebound works, the same as always was. And so I've had that happen before. I was in Texas running a different truck, but we were doing like a time trial thing. I checked it, make sure everything's working. I was like, oh, I don't have a rear shock. I'm like, well, I'm going fast anyway. It's full stiff. Let's go. Let's send it. And you couldn't tell. It worked fine. It just wasn't doing its thing.
Yeah.
But if you're going slow, you might feel it.
Okay.
So how many applications do you have for this setup?
Pretty much everything we make, for the most part.
Oh, really?
And we're just rolling them out as we can get them checked off the list, basically.
Okay.
Well, that's way more than I thought we were going to
well, I know.
find out. I'm like blown away by the electronics side of it, because that has been something that only a few people are doing, and it's new to the industry. You see a little bit on the OE, aftermarket, not a lot of players in that space, but for you guys to be like, oh yeah, it's across the line.
Yeah, it won
great.
Best New Product at SEMA 2022.
Awesome.
So we got a whole display at the booth. Come on by and we'll show you.
Awesome.
There's that, but I get lost in the wheels before I even get to the shocks.
That's fair.
All right, Lightning, behold the vehicle you're standing next to. This is actually the best hotel room in Vegas. At least that's what I heard.
Hey, we had plenty of people walking down the strip asking if we were staying in this tonight, so
yeah,
it's a little chilly.
So this is a Delica, right?
Yes, sir. 1993 Mitsubishi Delica. It's a completely one-off vehicle that we did for a customer, and now we're the first manufacturer in the world to offer aftermarket support for them. We make everything from the bumpers, the lift kit, the Cummins R2.8 swap, the Hellcat 8-speed automatic transmission. Every component that you see on our van, we make in-house, and we can now manufacture and supply worldwide.
So you can put an 8-speed ZF behind a Cummins 2.8 in these things?
Yes, sir, we can.
That's freaking awesome.
It might only...
So if you don't know what a Delica is, it's a Mitsubishi, and it's kind of a micro van. If you think of like the old Toyota toaster vans from the 80s, they look kind of like that. They're like one class smaller than that, and people love to import them, and they use them as like little caravans around the world for overlanding and stuff like that.
Yep.
but they are notoriously slow and not like the greatest stock. But now there's this like really crazy like aftermarket popping up for these things.
Yep.
And the fact that you can do a R2.8, that's got to be the perfect engine for this.
It makes 480 horsepower and 700 foot-pounds of torque, so this Delica is no longer slow, sir.
What's the wheel? The wheelbase has to be like 90 inches.
It's 94, so it's real close. It's damn near
close
as close
to like a
as the
two-door Jeep.
Scouts.
Yeah.
You know, I've been rocking.
He's got an
That's
International
IH
Harvester
Scout
tattoo on his arm. There you
Yep,
go.
I've been building Scouts since I was 4 years old. My family is also the leading production for all international parts in the world. So we run IH only Parts America, and so we produce all of the manufactured components for international Scouts and international Lightline.
Introduce yourself and what the company you're with.
Yes, sir. So my name is Rick Wallen with Custom F and Customs, because everything we do is f***ing custom.
So you know my friend Jeff Ismail then, right?
I've known Jeff since I was born.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, so and if you ever call there, and MJ, the person who answers the phone a lot, that's my father.
Okay, all right, so awesome.
When I say my family is the originator and creators, I've known Jeff since the day that he started in a dirt shop floor, I mean, like from the ground.
I saw him at the Scout reveal in Tennessee a few weeks back. I had a chance to hang out for a while and stuff like that. So
yeah, he's here this week. He stopped by a little bit ago, so what's up. And I think that next year we're going to be bringing out 2 vehicles. We got a Unimog, and then I've got a 1 of 200 Scout TORA that I've had in my pocket for a long time.
Nice.
So I might finish that up and bring it out for next year.
I hope you do it, because now obviously all eyes are on Scout again.
That's right.
And they're going to be, it's a big deal. All the people have all their barn finds. I've been waiting for the moment. Like that window's now.
Well, we used to buy them for $500 a piece. Now I can't find one for less than 10 grand.
Oh,
so.
I know.
How do you feel about the new Scout?
Did you hear the silence?
All right, well, moving right on. We'll go back to the
the
Delica.
When Volkswagen buys an American company and says, "Hey, let's put a twist on it," I didn't like their twist.
Yeah,
But that's just me.
Get a little nervous about it, right?
Back to the Delica.
Can I ask you a question, Lightning? Could you drive a right-hand drive Delica?
Absolutely.
It's forward control. The wheels are behind you, and it has the same wheelbase as a Jeep 2-door.
Right now I will. Well, if he handed me the keys, I would.
Well,
drive
he would have
it
let you
right
drive it
down
on the sidewalk, because you could do a complete circle right where it's parked.
Yes, you could. It would spin like a top.
There's only one thing that makes it to where it's super stable, though, that runs down the road, is that's the Fox 2.0 double adjustable bypass shocks. So, I mean, like...
Not a lot of travel, but you need the control.
It actually has a ton of travel.
What does it have?
We have TerraFlex double extension shackles in the rear with quarter elliptical springs that allow for 21 inches of rear travel.
Oh my God!
In the front, we have extended upper and lower control arms, and we get 14 inches of front travel.
That's
so,
like mid-travel on like a pre-runner from like the mid-2000s.
Yeah, so we're not doing too bad for a 93 Delica.
That's pretty
We're
awesome.
actually going to be taking it early next spring. It'll be the first Delica to ever traverse the Rubicon. We're only about 40 minutes from the Rubicon, so we're going to be taking it over the Rubicon.
So, how many Delicas are there in the U.S.? Is this a thing? Will you sell that many bumpers? I don't know. Before Matt Farah at Smoke and Tire Podcast started talking about his Delica that his wife drives all the time, I didn't even know it was like a thing.
So yeah, in the U.S., they actually make them as a left-hand production model, so they're here as regular production models, and then we are now, because of the 25-year gap, starting to get Australia and JDM imports. So the right-hand drive craze obviously has been a huge thing for years in our market as far as the JDM side of things. So not only do we have the factory manufacturer support of vehicles that were released here in the U.S., but now that we're starting to get more of them imported in on the right-hand drive side, the market has increased. Also in Taiwan, these are still manufactured as the L300 and L400 to current day.
Oh, wow.
So when you ask me what's the product support, well,
A lot of service parts.
I have a lot of service parts, and I have a lot of manufacturers that are wanting our components in other countries because this vehicle is still being produced.
Well, dude, that's effing rad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Since the day that we released it, we've really become world-renowned with this build. The owner of the vehicle is huge on the Delica forums. He put it on a lot of different forums, and within about a week of us completing it, we were having phone calls from Hawaii, from Fiji, all over the place wanting components for it. So it's been a major project for us that we didn't think was going to be. We honestly thought it was going to be a motor swap and a van, no big deal. I didn't even really know what the Delica was.
Industry.
Yep, I didn't even know what the Delica was. And by the time that we were halfway through with it, watching our YouTube, when we were just putting up little things, and we were like, man, we're getting 10, 15,000 views on like little clips of this thing. Okay, it might be special.
What's
right?
your YouTube channel in case people listening want to follow this thing?
You can follow us on any platform at Custom F and Customs.
All right.
So
awesome.
Custom F and Customs.
Yes, sir.
You're the man. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you for coming out.
The Truck Show podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Homan and Jay Tillis with production elements by DJ Omar Khan. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to show your support than by patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.